Hello. So I'm seeing guilt here, and I want to tell you something. You do not have to feel guilty for walking away from these people to protect yourself, to protect your mental health, your physical health, your emotional health, to care for your well-being, to preserve your well-being. You do not have to feel guilty about that. You do not owe these people anything, okay? Let me ask you something. Did they feel guilty about attacking you, manipulating you, controlling you, stealing from you, sabotaging you, doing traumatic things to you? Did they feel guilty about that? No. Did they feel guilty about lying, about making up lies about you to make you seem like you were the problem, like you were cruel, like you did something to them? No, they don't feel guilty about that. Do they feel guilty about lying about the traumatic things they did to you in order to preserve their own reputation? No, they were looking out for themselves, okay? And so you do not have to feel guilty for walking away from them and for putting your needs first. You needed that. Who was going to protect you? Who was going to protect you? Who was going to look out for you if it wasn't yourself? Okay? You had given so much to these people for so long. You gave so much to them, and they did not reciprocate that to you. They did not. Now I see, like, you're a good person. You know, you don't want to hurt people. You don't like doing things that are going to cause people to feel bad. You're highly empathic. You can feel what other people feel. You're a compassionate person. You have a lot of love and a very high quality of love. And also, I am seeing that maybe you wanted to work these situations out with these people because you did care for them. See, you genuinely cared for these people, but it wasn't the same thing coming from them. They weren't really reciprocating that. What was coming from them was like more like control and manipulation. They loved you when they could control you. They loved you when they could manipulate you and take from you. But they didn't love you when you were expressing your needs. They didn't want to give that to you. They didn't love you when you were standing up for yourself. They didn't love you when you had to protect yourself. Okay, that's not healthy, genuine love, and you deserve healthy, genuine love. And that's what you are giving to yourself. To allow yourself to be treated poorly, to stay in situations where people are just outright treating you poorly, is demonstrating a lack of self-love, a lack of self-respect. Okay, at some point, you can't respect people who are disrespecting you, or you can't tolerate people literally hurting you, make excuses for it and say, well, I'm respecting them. No, then you're not respecting yourself. It's at your expense. And that's not healthy. You deserve better than that. And so it's like to put yourself back in those situations because you want to take the high road or you want to be the bigger person is too high of a cost. They already took so much from you, and to willingly give that over to them it's not in alignment with your true self. To continue to give to people who don't value and respect you and who want to hurt you, who don't feel remorse for mistreating you, who purposely did things to sabotage you, malicious things, to keep giving yourself to them in those situations is like following that conditioned belief that you had to adopt when you were in survival mode. Because in survival mode, you had to do those things. You had to do those things to be able to be, to get, the love, because it was superficial love. Only when you were following the rules or following their rules or allowing them to control you, that's when you would receive that love. So there was a conditioning there. There was a conditioning. I spoke about that in another video, where in order to survive, sometimes we take on these beliefs. We think, oh, maybe I am wrong. Oh, maybe I do. I am the problem or whatever. And then you cater to that. That's how you survived. But you're not in that situation anymore. So the guilt that's coming up, or guilt that other people are trying to make you feel to try to manipulate you, no, it has no place in this healing process that you're in. It has no place in finding your alignment and maintaining your true self. And as I just said, you do not owe them anything. If you want to love them, 555 on the timer. If you want to love them from afar. You don't have to wish them any ill will. You don't have to seek revenge. You're not going to seek revenge on these people. That's not who you are. That's not in alignment with God's light. That's not in alignment with your light. And your light is so bright and your standards are so high because you are in alignment with God's light, because you carry a spark of God's light, and it's a very bright spark. It's a very high state of consciousness. It's a very beautiful frequency. Okay? And so the guilt, sometimes guilt is a part of the healing process. It's like part of like the grief, the stages of grief. And there's a lot of grief around having to walk away from these people, especially if it's family. There's so much grief there. There's that child inside of you that's hurting. Like, why didn't they love me? Why didn't they value me? Why weren't my feelings important to them? How could they attack me like that? How could they take from me? How could they lie on me like that? How could they do me dirty like that? There's that child that's hurting because you didn't deserve it. Nobody deserves that. And even if they were wounded, okay, let's not make excuses for them, okay, because they were adults when they did this stuff to you. We're all adults now. We're not kids anymore. They're not the wounded kid. You're not. They had every opportunity to heal themselves, to make choices, to try to heal themselves. But instead of doing that, they literally attacked you. Okay, so don't make excuses for them. You can feel sorry for them if you want, but don't make excuses for them, because we are all adults here and we are all responsible for the choices that we make. And just like you don't go around putting your pain out onto people and intentionally and maliciously hurting and sabotaging them, okay, because you don't do that, because you are a responsible person, because you are accountable for the way that you treat people, that's how they need to be. They need to be held accountable as well. But you don't have to hold them accountable. You don't have to be in their faces being like, that was wrong and this, that, and you need to do the right thing. No, by removing yourself and tending to your own well-being, it's holding yourself accountable, and in a sense holds them accountable as well. Because your presence is not there. You've removed your presence, okay? And so they can choose whether or not to be accountable for themselves, and we know that they're not. We know that they're not, because they still need to control the narrative, okay? Because they really don't have a conscience. They don't have morals. Their standards are really low. They're the type of people who will like break the rules and then cause a ruckus just so that they can get away with it. You know what I mean? And so, they're the type of people who pretend they don't have any money so that they don't have to pay their oil bill or whatever when they've got all this money in the bank, but they just want to spend it on something else. You know what I mean? They're that type of people. They're scam artists everywhere they go. And so often these people get themselves in a position of power, or they get into the public eye where they can portray themselves as these, good people who are looking out for the well-being of others, but they're not. They're looking out for themselves. They're trying to control the situation. And they're trying to control the situation so that they can control all the bad feelings they have inside of them. But you don't make excuses for that. You don't allow that to go on. Okay? Because that's how the cycles perpetuate. And we are not here to perpetuate cycles. We are here to break cycles. And that is what you're doing. Okay? So I get it if you feel guilty. I get it if you still have conditioned beliefs that are like, oh, maybe I should still, be there for them or do for them. But I'm telling you, God separated you from them for a reason. God showed you the truth for a reason. And it wasn't so that you can continue to cater to their dysfunction. Okay? So when those feelings, or if those feelings of guilt come up, just reassure yourself that you made the right choice, because you did make the right choice. Because it was time for you to heal yourself. Because how much more could you break? How much more could you break for somebody else when you were innocent, when you didn't do anything? Okay? And if there were times, excuse me, through your process before you were aware that you unintentionally projected your pain out onto somebody, I know you took accountability for that. So don't beat yourself up. Don't put yourself in the same category as these people, because you're not in the same category. You took responsibility for yourself. You put the effort into change. You said you were sorry. You actually felt remorse for it. Okay, so you're not like that. We all make mistakes, but the difference is whether or not you take responsibility for your mistakes and make it right, or whether you perpetuate them and make excuses for them and try to justify them while continuing these toxic cycles. Okay? So I love you so much. God loves you so much. You made the right choices. You do not owe anybody anything, especially those people. If you want to love them, if you want to forgive them, you can do it from afar. You do not need to expose yourself to toxicity, dysfunction, or people who are out to get you in order to prove that you are a good person. You don't need to do that. These people threw you to the wolves and then watched you suffer and sat back and enjoyed it. Okay? You don't owe them a thing. I love you so much. Your angels, your guides, your spirit team, they love you so much. The earth loves you. The earth is rooting for you. Okay? You are bringing such a high level of consciousness and such a high frequency, balancing and transmuting these dense energies. You are doing it. You are doing it. Don't give up. It's okay if you have a bad day. Just don't give up. Okay? Know that you are making a huge difference and a huge impact. Even if you can't see it, even if it doesn't feel big, it is big. You wouldn't have gone through all of that if it wasn't. Okay? So keep on loving yourself. Keep on caring for yourself. Give your body what it needs. Hug yourself. Somebody wrote me, how do you hug yourself? Literally, just hug yourself. Hug yourself. I wish I could hug you. I'm sending you virtual hugs, big giant ones. And I give good hugs, okay? So big ones. And just know that you are so loved. Okay, I hope you have a really great day, and I will talk to you soon.